Hello, hi, this is Dave. I have important information for you. If you come where this tree is in the Allegheny Cemetery and you stand here, it's gonna smell like gumdrops. I'm talking about the black grayish gumdrops. I think they're supposed to be licorice. Anyway, every day, walk by this tree, it smells like gumdrops. I don't understand why. It's a mystery, but I'm gonna find out why it smells like gumdrops. I recommend you come here too and stand here and feast upon the smells of gumdrops. That is all.
How many of you are there?
Oh, there's dozens. I'd rather not say exactly.
Men who haven't seen daylight in 3 months.
Police officers who haven't seen daylight in 3 months.
Dial it back, officer. The situation is unprecedented. Let's move away from this location and then call it in.
Right, let's go.
No, we'll take it from here. You stay and look after these folks.
If you're just joining us, we are closely following the BATPAT versus KURT ANGLE results as they come in. The polls just closed a few minutes ago. It's been a tight race all afternoon. We've been watching it go back and forth. KURT ANGLE jumped out to an early lead, but then Patrick around midday had a surge of voters. I don't know if they started counting in the mail-in votes or if those were in-person votes, but as those started rolling in, it's been going back and forth. And so Dave and I have been looking at these projections as they come in. It looks like the East End closed first, and there was a huge surge for KURT ANGLE, which we thought was an area that Patrick Jordan would dominate, but clearly it went the other way, and we're not really sure why. Exit polls have been confused all afternoon. We're gonna go. Dave, are you here? Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm with you at the moment. We're still tabulating the results as they come in. We're unable to make a call at this point. There is just, we just want to make sure that all the results are in and that all potential paths to victory are properly vetted at this point. It's very much been a nail biter all day, and I don't know. There isn't much to say other than, you know, the results will be here when the results are here.
Yeah, I mean, we were worried. I mean, I'm hoping there doesn't need to be a recount. You know, they're going to the polling officials and they're closely monitoring these results as they come in. Word just came in that the South Side has closed in favor of Patrick Jordan from BATPAT, as he is known in that region. And then we're waiting for the North Side and the West End. The West End, we know, closes a few seconds later than this.
Pete, we're getting the final here. The final results are coming in. Oh wait, no. First we get a word. We get a word here. Patrick Jordan's camp is here with a statement. So we're gonna roll that first, and then I think we got some results hot on the heels of that. Let's do that right now here.
All right.
All right, Patrick Jordan is taking the podium. This is going swimmingly.
Hello? All right, everyone, thank you for coming here tonight. Everyone watching Alone Together, Pittsburgh here, and it was a tough fought. It was a tough fought race, and a lot of people were, you know, there's a lot of. It just showed that a lot of our viewership is divided right now, and I think now more than ever would be a time to have some unity so we can move on as a show. We have here on Alone Together Pittsburgh a divided audience, but we can come together. We have a democracy, and it enshrines a peaceful transfer of power. Now, we don't just respect that. I mean, we cherish it, and it enshrines other things. You'll have the rule of law, the principle that we are all equal in rights and dignity, freedom, and expression. We respect that and cherish those things, and we applaud it. So right now, I have to tip my hat to Olympic gold medalist with a broken friggin' neck, Kurt Angle, former WWE superstar, champion, Hall of Famer, one of the greatest wrestlers to come out of Western Pennsylvania. I tip my hat to you, sir. Tonight, you got the better of a two-line part from a movie that was filmed in Pittsburgh. So I feel like what's right is right, and I think the future is bright. I think the best man won tonight because he is, in fact, an actual human being and not a character from a Batman movie that was not Batman. So this is I will be conceding tonight. There won't be need for any more recounts or votes or scams or anything like that. I tip my hat to you, sir, and good luck, Mr. Angle, when you face Michael Keaton next week in the Final Four of the Jagoff poll. I thank you, sir, and I bid you all adieu.
Okay, well, I don't know what that was. That was. I don't even know what to call that. That was embarrassing, really. I guess there's only one thing to do here. Time to wrap this sucker up, put a pretty bow on it, and move on with our lives. What do you think, Mr. Pete?
Sounds good to me. I mean, I'm shocked, I guess. I wasn't expecting this, but you know, I have to hand it to Patrick. The way he tried to pull the viewers together, you know, and as opposed to, you know, calling for all out chaos. I know he has been consulting his attorney, but you know, I think that it's just too far gone. I think
he's got to give Rudy G a call because that was a little wimpy as far as I'm concerned.
Well, gentlemen, now this is done, we'll be moving on. Let's get on with our show. This is episode 115 of Alone Together Pittsburgh. Thank you for indulging us and letting us have a little bit of fun.
Hey, that was worth it.
Pete. Anyway, we'll give you the behind the scenes thing later on in the show. Maybe in the last 5 minutes, we'll tell you how that went down pre-show. So anyway, thank you for joining us, for being here tonight. A couple of things before we get to our fantastic guests that are lined up for tonight. It is an action-packed, jam-packed night because tomorrow night we've got the Amoeba Knievel takeover, the 20th anniversary of Amoeba Knievel, the band. So you heard some of the music playing pre-show. So that's happening. So we're moving our Friday regular contributors into tonight. So you're going to get 5 minutes with Natalie Bencivenga, and you're going to get local brews or local booze with Dave Bracey after last week's tequila extravaganza. And we're also going to find out what Kate ate this week, which is always exciting. But before that, we've got Dalel Khalil from Khalil's Restaurant and the author of the book From Veils to Thongs. So we're going to be talking about a lot of different things. But before we get to all of our fantastic guests tonight, there's a little bit of housekeeping. Number one, ticking below us right there is Alone Together Pittsburgh's Venmo account. So if you want to kick in a couple of bucks for the show, the money goes directly to the artists involved with the show. Go at Together PGH is our Venmo. And we have PayPal as well. It's the same thing. If you want to get the direct link to that, you can go to our website, togetherpgh.com. So that's on there too. And the Jag-Off poll, which is nearing the end, but we still are going to have our in-show little Jag-Off polls. I want to remind everyone that the Jag-Off nature of this is not a derogatory thing. We mean it as a term of endearment. Everyone involved in everything, every phrase, every word, every piece of food that is involved with this Jag-Off poll, we love, and it's quintessentially Pittsburgh. So that's what we're going for that. To let you guys know, this is the Jag-Off bracket poll. It is actually more full than that right now. So what you're seeing here now, the final four is set, folks. All of these items have gone against each other, and it is down to the movie Striking Distance versus The Cookie Table and Michael Keaton versus Kurt Angle. Okay, so we've got a movie and a cookie table versus two human beings that are still alive. The only two that were actually on this poll when this whole thing started. So it's happening. We're not trying to battle this out, but this is happening, and the winners are going to show down in the finals next week. So we are going to take it off for the night. So that said, Engine House 25 Winery is sponsoring the Jag-Off polls. So I want to tell you a little bit about them. If you go to eh25.com, you can find out the entire selection of wines that they have there. And if you tell them that you found out about them from Alone Together Pittsburgh, you'll receive $5 off per bottle. They have fantastic wines. The labels are beautiful. The grapes come from everywhere, from Napa to Chile and everywhere in between. They come in a refrigerated box truck, and then they are hand selected, picked, crushed, destemmed, everything in Lawrenceville. So check that out. Also, they're doing free delivery while the pandemic's going on, and you can also do curbside. And Lola's Eatery is attached to that too. They've got some fantastic to-go options for all of your needs. So check that stuff out. Aaron Hagenhart, that's right. This is November 2020 madness, because we literally started this thing in March when March Madness got canceled, and we are just now coming to the finish line of this. We did not expect to still be here doing this, but that said, I don't want to bring the temperature down here, but as you know, yesterday Allegheny County's COVID numbers were 620. Today was 609. I will not call that trending in the right direction. It's seeming like these are the after effects of Halloween and people gathering from Halloween. If you look at the time stamps on these things, this is about what's happening right now. And with Thanksgiving around the corner next week, we are very concerned. So as you know, Allegheny County has a stay-at-home advisory. It is not an order yet. This is basically like, this is your last chance kind of a scenario. So please wear your masks. Don't go out unless you have to. And wash your hands. Stay socially distanced. Try to stay away from elevators. Try to stay away from large gatherings of people as best you can. I mean, we preach this every night, and you're hearing it on TV and radio, and everybody's talking about it. So you don't need to hear us talking about it anymore tonight. But I will tell you that Bruce Springsteen said this.
Put on a fucking mask.
Like you didn't know I was going there, Dave. Like I don't go there every night, you son of a gun. See what happens when you lose? Big loser. That's me. All right, Dave, thank you. All right, so so that's it right there. We'll have more information coming at you in between the guest list, but I don't want to keep our guests waiting. Pete, Dave, unless there's anything else that we should discuss before we dive in here, are we good? Are we ready?
Let's do it.
All right. So our first guest, I mentioned it a couple of minutes ago. She's the owner-operator of Khalil's on Bomb Boulevard. Also the author of the book From Veils to Thongs. Can't wait. We wanted to have her on for a long time, and I'm glad we were able to work this into her schedule. Dalel Khalil.
Hey, Patrick. And
What's
everybody.
happening?
Hi, Pittsburgh. How are you?
I'm all right. Thanks for being here with us tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. First, I just have to say, fake news, man. Fake news. You should not have conceded. You gave into, I want to recount. I mean, you got to fight this thing, right?
Look, it was time to heal.
Exactly.
I'm just saying. It's not my business, but I'm just saying, fake news.
It was time for this show to heal.
Such a gentleman.
And it doesn't help. I mean, it's time to move on.
It is.
Democracy's bigger than all of us.
You know what? You're right about that.
All right. So anyway, so there's a lot going on in the world. So I want to talk a little bit about you and how you came to reopen Khalil's.
Oh my God. So, well, let me start by saying that, first of all, again, thanks for having me on this show. Sure. You guys are great. And Pittsburgh, you guys, I just want to say this, you brought the show together in the beginning of this quarantine when so many people were feeling so isolated. And it was such an important thing that you did, and it helped so many people. So we're all grateful for
thank you so much. We're just hoping that we're hoping we can stop doing the show eventually. When
on to better things, do a better.
It's something like that. But so, I mean, okay, so we get to Khalil's, but I mean, also before you reopened the restaurant, you wrote a book. You were an on-air radio personality. You've been all over the place doing lots of things, right? Yeah. So we're gonna get to the book a little bit later, and the radio spot a little bit later. But So Khalil's is like, to me personally, I love it, right? And it's one of those, and I'll get this out of the way right now. It's one of those kinds of restaurants that's unique to Pittsburgh in that it's got this old school vibe to it, and you can walk in and you're transported to almost a better time kind of a thing. So you sit there and the food's amazing, and you work in the room at the restaurant is just classic to me. I just love sitting back and like watching you do it, because I mean it's an old school like touch that restaurants do not have anymore. You know what I mean? And I applaud it and I love it. It's like going back. I mean, here's a couple of pictures. But it's like you're transported to a different place, and I think that's one of the best things you can have from the atmosphere of a restaurant. And then the food's amazing. So I got that out of the way.
Thank you so much.
So the restaurant was an institution for a long time, and then it closed.
Yes. So, well, we started in 1972. My dad came from Syria in 1956, married my mom. The whole history is on the website, but married my mom and then worked. I'm actually sitting in the restaurant. And this restaurant was Omar Khayyam. It was like a supper club, nightclub restaurant in the 40s and 50s, I think it was. And he worked here as a cook for 12 years before he turned around and opened his own restaurant. And then his old boss offered him 5 years later to buy this restaurant. So we had three going on at one time. Wow. But we ran the restaurant from 1972. So I was like 4 years old, running around like filling waters, bussing tables or whatever. And I just gave my age away, didn't I?
No, you did. No one's going to do the math. It's fine.
Don't do the math. Recount.
Erin Hart sends her love.
Oh, I love her. Hi, Erin. Hi, everybody. I love that whole plan. Anyway, so, and in fact, they had their first, Erin Hart's parents had their first date, if I'm not mistaken, the first date at our restaurant. And now the grandchildren come. Isn't that great? And that's a typical story with the restaurant. And I just think that it means so much to us. You were talking about about how, you know, I'm working the room or whatever. And it was never a place that was just for food. Like my father and my mother, when you came, you were in our living room, and that's, you don't just feed the food. There's food everywhere. You know, thank God. We live in America where there's food everywhere, but you feed that soul. My mother used to sit down. She used to, you think I'm doing what I'm doing? Oh, there she is. There's the pictures. My mom, back in the day when we used to smoke, my mom used to, she'd say, honey, 2 for dinner. Come on, here's the table. She used to take out her Lucky Strikes without a filter. And people who are listening will remember this, some people. And she'd light her cigarette and she'd take a long, draw from her cigarette. How the hell are you, Jeff Patrick? You got a beautiful daughter over there. She's just, Connie, how you doing? What's your name? She sit down and have a cup of coffee. Honey, give me a cup of coffee. She sit and have a cup of coffee. So it is that, and it's genuine. And we want you to feel that you're not only in Syria, the decor and the music and the food and everything, but we want you to feel that you're home. This is your home always. So that's what that legacy is about.
Well, you're successful in that. I mean, I'm glad to hear you say that. That totally comes across when you eat in this restaurant, and it's something like that. My grandfather was Syrian. We talked about this a little bit earlier. So the food is the food hits home. You know what I mean? So I'm a huge fan, and everything's fantastic. And I'm sure when the pandemic is over, I'm sure my entire family is going to be you know, stampeding your place, especially after tonight.
We want to feed you. Bring everyone. We want to feed you all.
All right. So the restaurant closed around what year?
Well, we closed in 2015 unexpectedly. We just put a sign on the door. My father had heart surgery and a stroke. He was in a wheelchair, and we were burnt out. So we put a sign on the door, and it said, "We're just going to close." For just a few months, little summer break. That's it. We were exhausted. I mean, he had heart surgery, a trach, everything. And then it turned into 3 years, and we weren't expecting that. And I swore all my life, because I was running around when I was 4 years old. I said, I'm never going to open the restaurant. I'm never going to, you know, it was always there for me. And I was, no, you're crazy. You're going to be crazy to open a restaurant. And every restaurant person knows how crazy you have to be. But then, so 2015, we shut the restaurant, and it turned into 3 years. We had customers calling to see when we're open. And, you know, we didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know if my father was going to be with us or not. Anyways, fast forward to 2018, I said to my sister Layla, who's my business partner, let's open. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, my dad's kicking. He's like, and he was telling us, what's wrong with you? You're sitting on the couch. Go work, you know, because he's, you're Syrian. Get to work, you know. What do you, you know? And we're like, okay. And I said, let's open. Okay, let's open. And so we opened, and we did some remodeling, and we opened the restaurant. And it's really been really up and down. This pandemic, a lot of restaurateurs are having a difficult time because it's so up and down and up and down. You just talked about an order, you know, up and down. And that was how it was with the restaurant. When we opened, we were quiet. Then we got this fabulous review in the Post-Gazette, unexpected, got slammed. And then my father at that time started to get sick and sicker. Anyways, so he eventually passed away, but he was here for 6 months. Thank you. He was here for 6 months, and he got to see everything. So we shut the restaurant. Then we reopened. We had to tell everybody, hey, we're opened again. Hello. And then we were struggling to work our way up. And then we had finally just started to work our way up just before the pandemic. I mean, I brought these wines from Lebanon and Palestine, and nobody has these wines. Well, people have them, but not the selection, and they're from Palestine. And I have wine from Bethlehem right now, and wines that Israelis and Palestinians work together. Talk about working together, and anyway. So we just reopened, and then we were getting on our feet in March, and then the pandemic started. So we're just up and down. It's crazy.
So
we're just crazy.
So you're closed for inside dining, but you're doing takeout, or are you still having some people?
Yeah, we're not doing anything inside. Okay. My brother is vulnerable, so we can't afford it. So no indoor seating at all. But we had a beautiful patio. We did an oasis thing just outside with palm trees, and we're going to do a really spectacular one, God willing, next year. But nothing inside, just takeout, and just for now, just the weekends, just Friday and Saturday.
And you've got a Thanksgiving package.
We do.
That you're working out there with a Syrian Thanksgiving inspired package.
Yeah. So when we were young, we had half the table was filled with turkey, and then the other was lamb and grape leaves and all that good stuff, and sleet and all that. So we do have a Thanksgiving package. We actually have it's on our website. You can check it out. But we actually have a meal for one as well. There are some of us who are going to be quarantining and by ourselves and not going to celebrate Thanksgiving with other people. So, we're with you in spirit. And then we make a meal for one person as well as for 4 to 6.
And you incorporated pumpkin into a couple of things.
We certainly did.
That's right. I know.
We got a pumpkin kibbe. So
this is what I'm talking about. I wanted to talk about kibbe for like an hour. We should do a whole episode just for kibbe. But
oh my God!
All right, I'm sorry, but go on.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We have pumpkin kibbe. No, I don't do any of the cooking because I just can't cook. Because I was a little girl running around and like, "What's for food?" and just eating it, whatever.
You're front of house.
In front of house because of the mouth. Anyways, so pumpkin kibbe and pumpkin baklava. I do make the desserts, so I will say that. And I will say that Layla. She hates baklava. She doesn't eat baklava. And she tasted the pumpkin baklava and she was like, this is fantastic. So yeah. So we've got some pumpkin baklava, pumpkin kibbe, and this whole package, and we're really excited about sharing a Syrian style stuffing. I mean, my dad made it bomb. It was freaking awesome. My mom made the American and my dad made the Syrian, and Layla's got the Syrian stuffing just like my dad made it. It's really delicious.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So that there, we've got other stuff to talk about the restaurant when we wrap up, but I want to talk a little bit about your book.
Oh, right.
and what brought that about, right? From Veils to Thongs.
Right. So from Veils to Thongs. So it's nothing to do with the garments. It's the mentality of the veil versus the mentality of the thong. So right now in this country, this is interesting that you're asking this. In this country, we're so divided, we're so torn apart. But growing up as a Syrian American with a traditional background, yep, that's her, Syrian background, with trying to navigate and trying to balance walking through both of those extremely different cultures was like crazy. It was just insane. So my whole life has been basically just trying to navigate that. And all these thoughts were in my head, but I was just going to write a little book, and then it grew. And then I went to Syria, and oh my God, it was just crazy. And I just came home and pounded this whole book out. And it's a really good reflection of where we are in our country with the liberal and the conservative mindsets. And so I'm an expert in that insanity, because you've got to balance both. You've got to take a little bit of, whatever's good from each part and balance it out, because we're not going to go anywhere in these divided. You've got to reconcile those. So I'll be doing therapy sessions next month. I'll start therapy sessions to recuperate this. I know all the answers. Trust me, you don't have to suffer anymore. But yes, so I read that. Yeah.
And there's you and President Clinton there with your book.
Yes.
So that's it, folks. I mean, you got to get this book, folks. I mean, now's the time, as good a time as any. And you had a short run of time on Whammo.
I did.
In the morning,
yes.
but it wasn't your name. You had another name, Taylor Diaz.
Taylor Diaz. I was with the Breakfast Jam. It was my escape from the restaurant. I finally had gotten out of the restaurant because we had to work there, a family restaurant. Everyone's your obligation. And so I finally got this job, and I was with the Breakfast Jam and Sean Richards, Taylor Diaz, and Sly Jock, and this great.
My father's going to lose his mind if he's watching right now, because he's the hugest Steve Harvey fan in the world.
Oh, okay.
So you're on the show.
Yeah.
All right, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm done. That was it. I just let that out there.
I had a great. So here I was, a Syrian girl at an African American radio station with a Hispanic name, and it was just like great. And here's another thing. My aunt Corinne Kadir, interestingly enough, used to have the Arabic hour. Some people maybe watching will know it. So she played Arabic music on the African American station in the 70s. Go figure how it all just kind of comes together. But yes, that was the best time of my life. That's a whole different conversation about how Arabs and African Americans are alike. We were just like the same, you know?
Awesome.
So yeah, it's a great time.
I've heard that before, but yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so real quick about kibbe. Can you get raw kibbe?
Can you get raw kibbe?
Do you serve raw kibbe, or you're not allowed?
We're not doing anything like that in the pandemic.
Oh, no, not in the pandemic.
Oh. I'm
talking I'm outside of the pandemic. People aren't even doing like full-size burgers to go right now in the pandemic. So I'm saying in pre-pandemic or in the post-pandemic world, let's say it's 2022.
Okay.
Everything's back to normal. We're all vaccinated. Everything's cool. Will there be an option for raw kibbe even on a special occasion at Khalil's?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's just I didn't know you liked raw kibbe.
I like kibbe. I like every kind of kibbe. I love kibbe.
Did you ever have arak? Do you know what arak is?
Tell me what that is, and I'll tell you if I've had it.
Do you ever go to a Greek festival and they're having ouzo?
I've had ouzo.
Ouzo, okay. So it's like the Arabic version of ouzo. It's a little bit stronger. I don't want to offend any Greeks, but ours is a little bit a little bit stronger. But
I need this.
The best thing is to have a dish of and you have to be careful where you get your raw kibbe from, because you want it to be made at that moment, fresh. You don't mess around with that. And that's what we do. Every single order takes a long time. When we stop what we're doing, we cut the lamb fresh. But you have a lamb, you have some good olive oil on it, you have some onions on it, and you have a sip, this glass of arak, and it's very potent, and it is just beautiful. Oh, I wish I had some right now.
All right. Well, I think I do too. I'm going to be stuck with just some wine that I have in arm's length there.
I'm going to make sure you get it when we get up and running again. I'm going to make sure you have the best raw kibbe and the best arak.
I'll be there. I'll be there the first day. All right. So we're running out of time here. I could talk to you all night, but please go to the website. Get your orders in. I think it's just 2 days a week. You guys are doing takeout.
Yes, 2 days.
And you're doing a special thing for Thursday for Thanksgiving. So check that out. It's right on the home page. It's the first thing you see when you come into the website. So get on that, follow them on social media, and get that rolling. All right. Wait, but real quick before we go, I just found out we actually have a video of your dad.
Oh, okay.
So let's just end with that. We'll throw that clip out. Dave, do we have that video? We ready to roll?
He's so cute.
Oh,
that one's going to be coming in hot in about 15 seconds.
Okay, so it's coming in hot in 15 seconds. In the meantime, Tracy Wilson is my super sleuth, and she's the one that found out all that information about my family and when they came over on Ellis Island. She did that in like 15 minutes earlier, right before the show started, so I could let you know where my family came from and everything. So by the next time you come on the show, you're going to have to do some sleuthing and find out where our families.
I think we're from the same village. We're going to find that out.
Which is crazy. Let's piece that together. It looks like Dave's going to need another 15 seconds, but he is the best man in the business to pull up the video here.
Also, just I'll tell you, we're going to have some Arabian cocktails. Oh, here's my dad.
Oh, good. Okay.
Thank you, Patrick.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
He's so cute.
Sometimes
this gives a little bit of a
flavor for it.
I love live broadcast.
Oh, it's so good. All right, here we go. All right, we'll give one more shot, and then maybe we'll have. If we don't have it here, we'll have it the next time you come on.
It's just duck.
We've got. It's a great photo.
Thank you.
All right. Well, let's just. I'm not hearing anything from the booth. And here we go. All right. Well, I tell you what. Maybe we'll run it later on in the show.
Okay.
If we have a window for it. Thank you so much, and can't wait. Everybody go to Khalil's.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Zilla. All right, so moving right along here, I think we have a segment coming up. I don't want to offend any Greeks. That was the quote of the night there. I think Aaron is correct. And pumpkin kibbe, Charlie Hardaway. Who knew, right? Pumpkin kibbe. I mean, I gotta try some. I might have to get in on this this Thanksgiving this smorgasbord. Anyway, moving right along here, want to bring out a segment that we normally have on Fridays. It's Pete. You're muted, buddy. I can't hear you, bud.
I'm not saying anything yet.
Oh, okay.
I think we're gonna do our normal Thursday segment before we go to our normally Friday segment.
Oh, fantastic. I think it's time. I think I'm very excited about this. All right, so we went right from Khalil's and Kibbe talk. What could Kate Romane have gotten into this week? Ladies and gentlemen, everyone's favorite Thursday night segment, What Kate Ate with Kate Romane. Hey, Kate.
I'm ready.
What are you drinking, Kate?
I'm drinking some bourbon, but oh my God, I want to eat kibbe.
I want to eat kibbe too, and I want to drink the Schlevo version, the Syrian Schlevo.
Schlevo. Cheers.
I forgot the
my God.
that she called.
You know, it's crazy. I almost ordered from there last night and then realized I only did it on Friday and Saturday, but I'm getting it this weekend.
They're only doing it on Friday and Saturday because it's just the two of them cooking. It's like it's an amazing. I don't know. I wasn't BSing at all when I talked about like the ambiance of the place, the experience that you have when you go there, in addition to the food being amazing. So
the food looks great, and I ate there once before it closed. So I'm it's crazy that she was on tonight because we were literally looking at the menu last night, and I was like, "Oh shit, they're not."
I was texting you trying to get you to go there, and it turns out it wouldn't have mattered anyway because they weren't open.
Yeah,
but it all works out in the best. But you did get to go to some places.
I did. Not as many as I normally go to.
Okay. Because
numbers are growing up, and I'm, it's a complicated scenario for us all right now.
Isn't it weird? Like we were so, I mean, not all of us, but the two of us were so in tune with everything and so serious about this stuff. March, April, May, I did feel people start to loosen up. August, September. You know what I mean? I felt the vibe was like, this is over, or, oh, I can live with this. Oh, well, so what? And then now it's just.
It's everything that they said it would be at the beginning. They were like, we're going to have a surge in the fall. The fact that everyone feels surprised by this is, kind of shocking. What's bothering me is everybody's like pointing fingers at each other. And yeah, we all should have been wearing a mask and doing all of these things since they were mandated in April. But now it's harder to ask people to do it. So.
It's looking like January 20th, there'll be a mask mandate nationwide, kind of a thing. I think that's the word that's coming out now. I mean, I don't know about lockdowns, man. I don't personally see it happening again. I don't think you can put the genie back in the bottle, the toothpaste back in the tube.
I mean, the thing is, it's like if that's what will save people's lives, then yeah. But it has to come with economic stimulus and all this other stuff. It can't just be like shut everybody down because everybody's going to get pissed. Like you can't lay people off. And
if only the pandemic and everyone's jobs and lives and livelihood were as important as confirming judges. I mean, it'd be it's just, I
don't want to laugh.
Someday you have to laugh to keep from crying, but someday, because that's the only thing that the Congress seems to be doing right now. They'll go with COVID and no masks to vote for judges, but they won't. They'll take a vacation when they need to pass a stimulus package.
Right? Oh my God. My mind is like, I'm just, every day it just feels like walking through mud. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? But that's not what we're talking about.
No, but that's not what we're here. But what we are doing here is, as this thing goes on, as more restrictions keep coming down, it's going to be even harder and harder for the restaurant and entertainment industry to stay afloat. So what you're doing now is kind of vital, like just going to places, even if it's one place this week, just to like shine a light on people are still out there working, they're doing it safely, and you can feel comfortable going to that place, hopefully. So where'd you go this week?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like, I feel like this stay-at-home order is really complicated. Like, do I stay at home? Can I still support my restaurants? Going out to eat, I felt like I was supporting like your local restaurant. Yes, you are. You should tip, even when you get takeout. Like, a lot of people are having to make the choice to go to takeout only for the safety of their staff and for the safety of the people that are eating there. So understand that. So anyway, going out to eat. Where did I go? I went to end of the show last week. I got Wiz Hotbox. I didn't get to quite dive into everything that like I had there. While we were in the show, we had been talking about it with Nina, and Emma ordered it. It showed up. It showed up at 9 o'clock at night. I had already had some whiskey. It hurt, babe.
Okay, so anybody who was watching last week's show, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. The show ran a little long, and thank God, because what ended up happening was talking about this early on in the show, Kate ended up getting it. It showed up some magical way, and then while we were in the last couple minutes of the show, Kate started eating what looks like a fried mac and cheese ball with dusted hot Cheetos.
That's exactly what it was. Emma had ordered it when because she was watching. She knew we were watching the show, and she ordered it for us. Oh my God, I was on fire though. Like, it was so good, but don't order it
on fire. How?
I mean, I'm an older lady. I mean, maybe I'm like giving away my like age here, but man, it was like painful. Like, that much fried food at like 9:30 at night.
Wait, pause. Are we talking heartburn? Or are we talking that spicy Cheeto dust rough for the next day?
I can handle hot food. It was like it was all fried. It was just like everything was fried.
I think
but it was so good.
I think that says that on the sign. I think everything I think it's like literally like you shouldn't be surprised that everything is fried. I didn't think anyone gets like a grilled chicken breast from Wiz's Hot Box.
Yeah, but it was delicious. Obviously, yes, this mac and cheese encrusted with the hot Cheeto thing is like an absolute must. It doesn't matter how much it fucking hurts. Just go for it. You got to eat that shit. It's so good. It would be better with beer. Don't drink it with bourbon. Also, the fried cauliflower, absolutely a must. Do it. Just do it. And I think we got...
But all at once, if you're over 30, is probably not recommended. Hey, dealer's choice.
I wouldn't do it again. Do it again. I would maybe order it at like 7.
Okay, Grandma.
With a glass of water.
So tell me something else there, Pappy. Where else? Wow, you did get a lot of stuff. Is that a burger in there?
It was a fried chicken sandwich.
Oh,
like
wow.
Everything is fucking fried. So they have mac and called mac and yellow is really good.
Well, he would have to with that. That's like the.
So we were debating last week whether or not. So it's coming out of the kitchen at Franctuary. Franctuary is not closed. I thought it was.
Yeah, you screwed
They
up.
are just producing this food alongside their own food. So I'm sorry if I said that.
Nobody holds it against you. So okay, so so you can get at Wiz's Hot Box. Just go to the website, boom, get the local thing there, and they deliver, or is that like with a glass of milk?
I just saw one of the comments. Sorry.
I know that was coming from our booth. All right, so that came from the booth. I don't know who handled that, but Maybe Aaron Hart recommends a glass of milk, maybe with this to soothe.
I can handle my hot food. It just it was just too much that night. Anyway, moving on. Because I know you got a lot of people to talk to tonight.
We got a couple more people to talk to.
Yeah. All right. The other place I ate. Well, the other thing I did was I pulled out my smoker and I smoked some some ribs, and it was great. And I just have to tell you,
was that
when
last
you
comment?
cannot order out, you should cook some food at home.
If you have a smoker in your yard,
do it right, babe. Do it right.
Do it right. Okay.
Do it right. And the best thing I had was today. Jess George, who has just joined our team at Black Radish. She is great, one of the best chefs in town.
She's killer.
Yeah, and she went and picked up Ladybird Luncheonette, which is in Beaver. No, Elwood City. I didn't go there. She picked it up. She said everything was safe. She ordered online. It is some of the best shit I've ever eaten in my life. It's also gorgeous and huge. The sandwich I got, it's called like the Sasquatch brisket. It's the biggest sandwich I've ever had in my whole life. I took a picture of only half of it. I don't know if I sent you a picture, but it's literally like, it's the size of my screen. It's so big. And then also this is a one croissant, nut roll croissant. It's huge. It's bigger than my shoe. I got a big lady shoe. It's a 10. It's a big thing. And then also, so that's
that's a big croissant right there.
That's a big croissant. There was also, I got a eggnog pound cake, a cornmeal whiskey cookie, and a molasses sandwich cookie that's full of miso buttercream. That's the size of a fucking dinner plate. All right, that's a sandwich. That's only half the sandwich. That's half of it. It's huge. It was delicious.
All right,
I had to put a Sharpie on here so you knew it was like a full-size dinner plate.
For scale.
This is one cookie.
You used a Sharpie for scale.
It's all I had, Pat. Come on.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Go on.
Okay, so this is one cookie that is also a sandwich. So it's full of miso buttercream in the middle of this fucking thing. It was diabetes. Like, you cannot finish that shit. It's so good. Anyway, that's what I ate this week.
That's amazing. That's
look at that guy. I love that guy.
Oh, that's that guy. That's Snatch.
And then,
what do we have
what? We got to take stock of what's going on. Thanksgiving, keep it small. I know it's a big day. It's a good day for eating. Just keep it keep it short. This short.
Sounds good. Sounds good to me. The Sharpie looks tiny. Aaron Hart wants to know, is that a tiny Sharpie? Is that one of those little mini Sharpies? Or
no,
is that
it's a full
Sharpie?
It's a full-size 6-inch Sharpie there, Aaron. You know what I'm saying? Like, that cookie's big cookie.
That's a big cookie. All right, I look at that cookie with that Sharpie. My good, the show is actually sponsored by Sharpie. Sharpie pens. When you need something to have for scale or put a circle on something, check it out. Wait, we have a video. It looks like.
Did I accidentally send you a video? Sorry.
Yeah, that's probably a mistake, but let's play it anyway.
It was.
Oh, that's so good. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, wow. Do it right. So I want to ask you a question, Kate.
Okay.
Do you want to stick around for Day's segment tonight, or do you need to cut off tonight?
Oh, that was the final product. I'm gonna check out. But I mean, is Dave on? Like
Day.
Is Day?
Yeah, Day. I mean, Day could come on next if we want him.
Yeah, bring it.
Yeah,
That'd
okay, cool. So stick around. I just want to do one little shout out to Farm to Table. One of our sponsors. Go to farmtotable.com. You can find out a ton of information, especially with the harvest tasting that's going to be coming up this Wednesday. You can get in and get your special box and get that stuff delivered to maybe even Aaron Hart's house. It's going to different breweries, different places. You can check mine and Alone Together social media tomorrow. We're going to be posting pictures of what you can get from the box taken from my house. So be sure to check out the social media for that. But in the meantime, buy fresh, buy local, farmtotablepa.com. I want to tell you something else going on that you should plan for. Okay, this weekend they're taking orders at Sorgel's. You can get Orem's peanut butter filled chocolate frosted donuts. All right, you can put the order in now. You have got till tomorrow, I think, to get your orders in for a pickup on the 21st. So I would get on that. You also can do a produce bundle. Get that in by Friday, November 20th. Get that ready for your Thanksgiving celebration. That's hopefully just the people that are in your house. And a lot more. So you can find all that out at Farm to Table PA. But the piece de resistance is the Orem's Donuts. Pete himself will tell you about it. You can actually see a picture of some of the stuff you can get in the harvest tasting box right
Orem's. there. Orem's is so damn good.
But Pete
I drove out there last weekend. I might go out again this weekend. Why not?
All right. So get on that. Go to farmtotablepa.com. Find out everything you ever wanted to know about buying fresh and buying local, where to do it, how to do it, get it going. farmtotablepa.com. That said, someone else who's also a fan of the harvest tasting box and farmtotablepa.com, our next guest, who's usually here on Fridays, we're talking about local booze with Dave Bracey.
What's up, babe?
You're muted.
You're muted.
What's up, babe?
Y'all hear me now? What's good, y'all?
What's happening?
Ah, man, it's not Friday, man. It's time is weird. I keep trying to use this like show as like a timestamp because I don't know what time it is anymore. And it never feels the same. Sometimes it's 3 months, sometimes it's 2 days, sometimes I saw you the other it never feels like whatever used to be a week, you know what I mean? So the fact that I'm a day earlier is just even like I'm ready for Saturday tomorrow. I'm like, yo, what's good? It's like, nah, it's Thursday. But I hear you guys are talking about barbecue over there. I saw some ribs. Y'all know some ribs going on?
I did some ribs. So I have had this smoker for 5 years, maybe. And like used it maybe 3 times and just busted it out this weekend. It was so good. It was so good.
Is it what kind of smoker you got? You got electric? Like is it a stand-up boy? Is it sideways?
It's a stand-up and it's not electric. It's all just smoke.
It looked brand new. I mean, it looked like it was from the showroom shine on it. So
it's not. It's been sitting in the office, and I finally was like, you know what, we're not using this very much.
So it's garage kept.
Yeah, garage kept. That's right. That's a good way to put it. But it was super fun. I had time, and it took about like 4, maybe 3 hours for, it was great. It was great. It ended up being delicious. And last night, I boiled down what was left, and I'm going to make some tacos tomorrow. So,
oh, nice.
So, what is them? Some baby backs?
No, they were just like straight up like pork ribs. It was great.
Yeah, no, my smoker doesn't look anywhere near as kept. Like that motherfucker be out in the rain. There's like little rust spots on the side. Like it's electric. And the thing about the electric is like I get to kind of be lazy about it. I just throw like some, like I just come out every like couple of hours, throw some apples, throw some wood in there or whatever, and like it maintains pretty decently. I mean, it's a stand-up boy, but yeah, no.
I've never used an electric smoker, to be completely honest. I have no idea how that works.
Yeah, so I mean, it just got the coils. It's like an oven. You know what I mean? At the bottom, like an electric oven. Like it has the coils that heat up, and you just throw some wood on the top of it. I throw like a little pot with some water in there, to keep it hydrated. And I mean, it's like I said, I keep it out in the rain. So I'm just waiting for it to catch my house on fire. But we got insurance for that, So, but yeah, it's definitely not as garage kept as like that. That looked like you spent some money. I got mine. Somebody just gave me mine. So like that's how you kind of could tell. But it tastes good, And like once you have it. Like once you have the smoke, once you get like that first out, you're like hooked. Like, cause you could do that throughout the winter. I can't barbecue in the winter all like I want to, but I can throw that smoker on and get just a little taste of summer. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Yeah.
Speaking of a taste of summer, what are you drinking, Day?
So, yeah, speaking of summer, I was talking about the Fresh Fest pack. I was down at Creekside, and we were talking about the Fresh Fest pack because I haven't been to Creekside probably since then. I've been a little bit on a beer hiatus, exploring different boozes and drugs. So I was back down there. I was back down there today, and he was like, "Yeah," he was talking about the what was that one through 11? The Clock with No Hands. That was a collaboration between them and Alematic. And that one had like blackberries and marshmallows and was just insane. So they have another sour, and that sour turned a lot of people on to like sour. I had a lot of people reaching out to me and saying like, "Yo, like that's like I don't really do sours, but that one is one that I would, I'm looking forward to more of that." So I got this slice. It's their newest sour, and it's a 4.4. And it's a pie, and it's raspberries, blackberries, Madagascar, vanilla beans. They got an eye in this vanilla. Like, is it vanilla? Like, I don't know. Maybe that's the type of beans and homemade pie crust. So it has like that dense and cakey kind of mouthfeel to it or whatever, but it's only 4.4, which is dope because it's really hard to get a good mouthfeel on a lower ABV beer. And, like I love that wave because like, I don't always want to get hammered right off top. You see what I'm saying? It don't always need to be a tequila and watermelon night. You see what I'm saying? Like, maybe I don't want to be on the show for 13 hours. So I'm like, yeah, we want to lighten it up a bit. And like, but at the same time, I want the flavor and I want that good, like, I'm having a good time. So it's a night, like I said, it's hard to do, and they did that really well. With that said, I don't particularly like this flavor, but that's the beauty of beers, that not all beers are going to be, the flavor that you particularly enjoy. And there's a difference between a poorly made beer and a beer that's not your style. So don't hop on Untapped and be like, 1 star. Like if you don't drink sours, then don't rate a sour. Like, but shout out to them for this slice. It's pretty dope. I'm impressed.
All right.
You made me want to drink that though. Like that sounded delicious.
It's got a good pie feeling. Like it's got like a pie crust feeling to it and that Madagascar, that beans, it gives you like this vanilla-y kind of just like a creamsicle kind of feel to it. You know what I mean? So it just wraps it in this like ice cream. Yeah. So shout out to Levy Tower and shout out to Aaron Hart.
That's an apron you're wearing.
Yeah, I was in that box.
That's a hell of a. Everybody needs to get in and buy this box. I mean,
the box, man. Like I was very impressed. I don't know how to pronounce half that shit. I got
you don't need to.
Fromage, like fromage. I was like, oh shit. You can't. I don't think we're even allowed in France right now. But I felt like I was a little closer to the Eiffel Tower with the fromage. So I was happy to have that. I got some of these snake bite pretzels. And listen, man, these motherfuckers bite. It's not just the name. Shout out to Robert, the snake guy. Again, that's not just the name. That motherfucker will show up with a snake. So, if you see him, maybe, ask him a couple of questions about it. I don't want you to tell him to pull out his snake, but, just, he has them. And then, we got the raw honey, and like, I'm all about the like these days, like saving the bees. Like that's the new, I was watching this documentary and it was, I think we talked about it last week about the bees and how we need to save the environment.
Yeah,
And
the bees touch like what 70 or 80% of our food. It has something to do with the bee.
okay.
You didn't get to that part of the documentary. You didn't get to the 3rd minute.
I mean, if you think so, I just know that like if without bees, we ain't got much of shit. Like that's just it's hard. It's hard living without the bees, and I don't think science is caught up quick enough to manufacture the motherfuckers. So until then, buy some raw honey from Huckleberry Farms, man. And it's
they're
real.
under attack, right? Like the
bees, not the farm.
Killer
murder
wasps?
hornets.
Yeah.
I mean, so
they're coming for the bees.
That's all we need.
The bees are under attack by evolution. I mean, let's just be like real. The bees are kind of stupid sometimes. Like it's an ever adapting environment, and humans are terrible. We we over here like cutting down shit and growing shit that they can't eat or whatever. So I mean, we fuck up a lot of shit. So they're going by the wayside because of our foolishness. So I mean, the least we could do is steal their honey for our pleasure in order for them to survive. And that sounds
going by
weird.
the bee side. Did you know that honey never goes bad?
Yeah, you can rub that shit in your wounds. You know what I mean? Like
they have. There's that. What is it? Manuka honey. That stuff from New Zealand. That's like like the cure-all of all cure-alls of all antibacterial things. When COVID hit, I bought a bunch of this stuff, thinking I'll just keep that in my mouth and nothing is ever gonna. It didn't go well. I was like rubbing Manuka honey. It's like $5 like for a drop of it.
So where's Manuka honey? Because I know, like I said, I was watching that shit. Them Chinese motherfuckers, they shipping out the mixed shit. You know what I mean? Like they
New Zealand, I think, was Manuka honey. I think it's New Zealand. I could be wrong.
Nice.
Pete could hit the Google and prove me wrong in a heartbeat.
Yeah, geography is not my forte.
No, but it's somewhere else. But the bees, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Bees.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, like you support a local farm. Beekeeping is wild as shit. And grow a garden. Save a community. Buy some honey. Apparently, this is cranberry. I've never had flavored honey. Apparently,
also, honey. Okay, do you guys buy into this with the like local honey? If you get it like local honey to help with allergies?
Yes,
I believe that. The co-op does like a super raw local, like from the neighborhood honey.
Yeah.
And I basically right in like allergy season, I take that stuff by like the gobble.
So is that like you just take a little bit of like poison and then you're cool? It's like ha.
It's something like that. Like something about because the pollen, it's the stuff that causes your allergies, and the bees have a little bit of everything in it. It's like what a vaccine is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a little bit.
If we believe in those sort of things, you motherfuckers, like fucking vaccine. Yeah, man. Like I'm so like I'm excited. They talk about 95%. They talk about distribution and shit like that. I'm like, cool, let's go. I don't know. It's been a good week. It's weird. It's been a really good week in news. Like I said, and it's even better when you get a box of goodies.
Well, Aaron's just calling me out here. New Zealand or Aliquippa? Do they have Manuka honey in Aliquippa, Aaron Hart? Give her the link because she's.
I mean, they got. There's some local local fig balsamic vinegar over here. So I mean, apparently, it's a product of Italy, but it's bottled in Pittsburgh. So again, when you talk about Aaron, man, she got connect. She like the plug. She's
that looks great.
Yeah,
she's the Morgan Freeman of Pittsburgh, man.
You can pick your own stuff with this box too, but if you get like the tasting package, there's ground meat, there's a dozen eggs, there's a loaf of bread from Breadworks. You've got olive oils. Look at all this stuff. I mean, like
that was awesome.
The pickles.
What is old fashioned apple butter? Like what is the new fashioned apple butter? Where are we?
More preservatives in the new fashion.
We're not here.
Yeah.
We're not here to make fun of the branding of some of these local local.
I think he was asking a legitimate question.
I was joking. I know he was. He definitely was. I'm just
I
joking.
didn't want to Google that shit. I like, if you want to put old fashioned apple butter, I want to know what the old fashioned is about. Yeah, I mean, clearly because listen,
it's Jenny Cream Ale is what it is. Old fashioned Jenny Cream Ale.
Jenny Cream Ale.
I love this image right now. I love this.
Oh my God. Why, Dave? We still from Washington, BA, not Brooklyn, New York. It's about local honey. This is Erin. Erin is schooling us. She should probably be on the show. If we're going to be talking about all her stuff, we should have probably had her on. But this is great, and you got an apron.
Yeah, got an apron out of the deal. I made some chili with some of the beef that I got, some of the local beef from the farm, and it's stewing right now in the crock pot. So like I filmed myself doing that, and I'm going to put that post that to the internet sometime tomorrow after I figure out how to edit it and make further of an ass of myself. But we'll all enjoy that together, I guess. It's this chipotle chili, and
nice.
It's half Italian sausage, half beef, and it's just fucking amazing.
Sounds good.
And it's a fail safe. I mean, really, chili is not very hard. You just brown that shit and wait. So pretty easy, and I'm excited.
That's actually in the recipe book.
Brown that shit and wait.
I mean, how often you had chili that you were like,
actually,
terrible chili?
Shit. This is what we need to do. Kate, Day.
What?
All right, we need to make something happen here. You guys need to work together on a recipe book. Okay? You get the ingredients. Day, you add the brown shit and wait. You find like a different way to like send that shit home. These things will fly off the shelves. I will buy 10 in case I want to read it twice, more than once. If I want to read it more than once, I'll buy 10 copies. It's on.
So basically, I'll just get drunk and watch Kate cook and document that.
Yes, Day.
Sounds pretty good.
I wish I had that talent, Day. I don't have that talent.
Do what you do. Oh, all right.
Erin said Erin will provide the ingredients.
I'm in.
Kate puts the recipes together. Day, color commentary. Boom. I think we're making magic happen here. Day, did you have another beer? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah. There's more beer. So again, stopped out of Creekside and got some Equilibrium. Fractal. It's a super juicy IPA out of New York, and it was wild. The first year of Fresh Fest, we had some Equilibrium there, a few kegs of it actually, and it was just like super sought after brewery. And after a hard day of work, I was like looking forward to trying this like highly sought after beer. And, at the end of the first year of Fresh Fest, I left with like 4 beers, like not 4 kinds of beer, literally 4, like 2 bottles and like 2 cans of beer after all of that. Everybody else was like, oh yeah, let's see you next year. And I'm like sober as shit, like with just a 4-pack. So Buzzy got some of the, Buzzy, our producer, got some of this. Mike, my old partner, got everybody got it. I didn't get a piece of it. So the second year, I actually walked out with a keg of it, and it was a triple IPA, and it was some of the best hazy beer I've ever had in my life. It was definitely worth the wait, and I was super excited to see that it was down at Creekside today. Shout out to, I would imagine, Steel City Brew. That was their account. Originally bringing it in, they like to bring in a lot of the, the more hard to find beers. Again, Equilibrium is not easy in this area, so super excited to have that. And apparently they're distributing all across. So wherever you can get Steel City beer, I'm excited to see it up here in Beaver. But if you're in Allegheny County, just about anywhere you could find like some decent craft beer, you're probably gonna find some Equilibrium now. So. Yeah.
All right.
I want that right now.
Yeah, this is what's happening. I mean, I don't have anything cold nearby. I just literally have. Oh, I know that. Yeah, there we go.
I have started drinking beer during the quarantine time.
Oh yeah,
and that looks delicious.
It's a goddamn juice bomb. Like,
that sounds great.
I mean, it's
sounds
New
great.
England. They like so they call them New England IPAs, and this motherfucker's from New England, so it's just kind of like, you know what I mean, it's like getting a Pittsburgh pierogi, you know what I mean, in a glass.
Went to Harvard. One of those Harvard drinks. New England. That's how it is. Ooh. Anyway, did you have any other beers?
No, that's it. Yeah, that's it, man. That is fucking phenomenal.
Can you guys hang for about eight or 9 minutes? I want to run Natalie's last interview, but I want to talk about a couple of things. So I want to get to that before it gets too late. But if you guys can hang till like 9:30, I want to talk to Day about a couple of things and Kate as well. So
that's
cool.
Good.
All right, cool. Everybody, stick around. You're gonna have more Day, Kate, Pete, and the home team of Alone Together Pittsburgh. But right now it's time for 5 minutes with Natalie Bencivenga.
Hey everyone, I'm Natalie Bencivenga, host of 5 Minutes With. This week I am so pleased to have my guest, the founder and executive director of Gift PGH, Rochel Tombosky. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. And you know, I wanted to change things up a little bit this week and get back to the real roots of what I wanted to do with this show, which is really discuss issues around equity and the people that are here building better communities in the city. And so, of course, I've been a big fan of your work and with Gift PGH. Yeah. And for people that may not know, can you explain what GIFT represents and how it began?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's an acronym for Giving It Forward Together. I advocate for the senior community. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I realized is when seniors get older, they tend to drift off out of the community, which makes them feel a lack of sense of purpose and meaning. Mm-hmm. So GIFT is all about getting the seniors back into the community, getting refocused and giving them a sense of purpose again. And so I figured if we get children and the community involved with seniors, and then the seniors get involved back into the community, we're giving it forward together.
I love that. And can you talk a little bit about why it is so important in this moment with everything going on with COVID, with sort of this economic downturn, with the election? Why is it important to sort of reconnect to these kinds of roots and support people in communities?
So, you know, my experience, I say BC, before COVID.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's going to go into the history books, BC, before COVID. My experience is, you know, our senior community, that demographic, like I said, very much is sometimes invisible. Mm-hmm. It's a group of people that are not as active anymore, and so we don't tend to see them. And so if we don't see them, then unfortunately, it feels like they don't really exist.
Right.
And so I don't know that people really understood that concept BC before COVID, but I do think that now when a younger generation or everyone is experiencing kind of that same feeling of being in home, being stuck, not being able to see family, not being able to give hugs and that interaction that we're so used to, we can get a small feeling of what our senior community feels like in general. And of course, you know, right now during the heat of COVID, our senior community is most affected. Yeah. You know, and most of our older seniors don't have that real understanding of modern technology. And so whatever like anxiety that we have wrapped around COVID, can you imagine even more so when you're a senior and then you don't even have like an outlet, right? You know? So I think this is I'm really hoping that people will now really understand the importance and the need to support our seniors in their physical and mental well-being.
And that makes total sense, because you have a group of people that are traditionally more isolated than ever before, and then you put this pandemic on top of it, and now it's just not even safe for people to be around them. So I can't even imagine that level of just internalized stress brought on by isolation. But it hasn't just impacted the ones that you're serving, it's also impacting your volunteer base. So how are you working around that so that people can still connect to the senior community safely?
Yeah, super challenging. I'm not going to lie, so a lot of what GIFT is all about is engaging our seniors. Mm-hmm. And obviously that came to a screeching halt as soon as COVID. Our seniors are locked up in their apartment buildings, in their rooms. And prior to COVID, we were doing a weekly intergenerational program where kids from high school age up were working with seniors every week on doing community work, giving back to the community in a real way. Mm-hmm. And that's had to stop. So yeah, we had to reinvent this whole idea. How do we tap into our senior community? How do we get our volunteers to still be involved? So I actually partnered up with Chatham University with their PT students, and they have around 25 PT students that call seniors every single week in their homes, which is safe.
Yeah.
And just have a conversation and just another voice to remind them they're not alone, we're here, and this is safe.
I love that. And if people are feeling inspired, which I know I'm feeling inspired just talking to you about your programs, what are some things that you have coming up around Thanksgiving and into December if people want to support the organization?
Yeah, every year, since GIFT started in 2015, we have done one of our bigger projects, which is Thanksgiving to Go. I guess I woke up one day and just realized, we have all these homebound seniors in their homes, and maybe they can't afford to go out and get food for themselves. And maybe they just are week to week. And they can't participate in a meal. So I created this little kit. It's called Thanksgiving to Go. It has food in it. It has a traditional Thanksgiving meal in it. But what's really important to me is not only to serve our seniors in their physical needs, but in their emotional needs. I just realized that, and I think this speaks to every age, right? Like, when we feel good, emotionally and mentally and spiritually, we also physically feel better. And when we don't feel well mentally, we physically don't feel well either. Right. And that doesn't change when you get to a certain age. It doesn't change when you're 60, 70, 80. That still applies. So GIFT is so centered around focusing on the well-being, the mental well-being, and the emotional well-being of our seniors, so that they feel like they want to go outside. They feel like they want to do things, right, and participate. So our packages don't just feed the physical aspect of Thanksgiving. It also is the joy of it. So we also provide presents and gifts inside that they could use and make them feel good.
I absolutely love that. And as we wrap up this 5 minutes with, I was really connecting with that message of sort of intergenerational hope and recognizing we are all in this together and we all need one another. So what is a message that you would like to put out there on behalf of GIFT PGH for the months ahead for this country? What are your hopes?
Yeah, I think, with, I guess, our conflict in the environment that's around us, I think it's really important for us to refocus and realize there are so many opportunities to do amazing things, to really be kind and considerate. I think it's static when we get overly focused on the negativity and then not refocus ourselves on all the good. And there, along with GIFT, there are so many beautiful organizations in our community to participate. And I encourage people, if you're going to get out and do something that's going to help somebody else.
I love that message. Rochel, thank you so much for spending 5 minutes with me. I so appreciate you and the work.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Have a great one.
Now I just feel bad about what I do and how we're just screwing around here talking about drinking right now. We were gonna have that earlier in the show.
Exactly.
We were gonna have that earlier in the
too.
show
Like,
and lighten it up.
shit.
Yeah, it's such a great organization. Rochel's awesome for doing all of that, and yeah, that's great. And Natalie talked a little bit about that interview last night on the show, what was coming up. So that was it. So it's a great another organization to get out there and support everybody. So go to giftpgh.org and get that going. Follow them on Insta, giftbgh, and the same with Insta. And
yeah, that's super important.
Awesome, very much so. And stuff that you don't even think about unless you're living it with senior
Yeah.
citizens. You know what I mean? That's definitely it too.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what were we talking about? There was one other thing I wanted to say. I forgot what we were talking about. There was one other thing. What was it? What were we talking about, Pete? What was it? Oh, I remember. There was a in-show poll.
Let me ask you a question. Wait, let me cut you off.
There was an in-show poll. There was an in-show poll that we didn't talk about on the show, and I want to see if you guys are down with this. This is a special two-part in-show poll because I screwed up and didn't talk about it early on. We're going to bring it back tomorrow night as well. So let's just see where the voting is and what it was. Dave, tell them what the in-show EH25 Little Jagoff poll is.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. Sometimes there are things in the world that position themselves to be things that they are not. In this case, we might call it trickery, we might call it dishonesty, we might call it fun, jests. It's up to you, the viewer, to decide. Two such wolves in sheep's clothing. The Burger King on the south side. The ER room. The ER room looks like you go there for plumbing. But it's not that kind of plumbing. If you want leather and lace, and you like to give chase to the lover in your life, if you want to take a dildo and throw it out the window, the ER room is your place to fix up all your problems in your body times. Smack that booty. Give it to your tootie. Or go to Burger King that isn't actually a Burger King because they got their license taken away and they may give you a Whopper, but it's no Whopper you've ever had before. You can have a Whopper at the ER room too if you want. Head over to the ER room. In fact, I would suggest make it a double date. Make it like dinner and a movie, but instead it's dinner and a dildo. Burger King, fake Burger King versus the ER room. Look at that guy, is Patrick Jordan on the cover. Spoiler alert.
That's how he leaves the house now during quarantine.
Oh my God. Okay. So have you been I've been inside both of those establishments.
Same.
Yes.
I was surprised at both.
I think you could get a dinner and a dildo at both establishments. Like, that's what's crazy. Like,
the fake Burger King's running away with it. Okay, so check this out.
It didn't require any intro. Immediately that poll was just ripping. People were like, "Oh hell yeah! Oh."
It's touched our lives, man.
Well, it's touched more than our lives. It depends on what time of day you went into that place. Okay, the first time I went into that place, I had no idea. The fake Burger King. I used to work across the street, and literally, you'd get fries in a brown paper bag, and you'd be like, that's interesting. It's like a Dixie cup with your drink in it, and there's no lid. It was just a straw and a Dixie cup through the drive-through. It says Burger King. It's the Burger King menu. It doesn't say like a Dixie cup root beer. That place is still functioning. I feel
like Eddie Murphy worked there at some point.
Literally, it's like a McDowell's. Tomorrow is rock and roll, the Brevity, the 20th anniversary of cartoon rock and roll from Amoeba Knievel. Wednesday was the 20th anniversary of the first show. The band has had probably 15 or 20 different members over the years, including our own Dave Mansueto. So you're going to see a lot of the members of the band popping on the show tomorrow, and you're going to see some music videos and stuff like that. So tune in tomorrow, 8 o'clock, and you're going to see the duration of this poll. But right now, I'm going to ask Dave Bracey, have you ever been to the fake Burger King or the ER room, which is also the sign outside says like used pipe fixtures?
No, man, I've not been introduced to that life. Like my childhood was that like was it Condom World or whatever that was like downtown.
Condemnation.
Oh yeah.
There was
Right?
probably a
Like,
condom world too, Pete.
it was some wild, like it had a weird smell. There were like 25-cent booths. Like I was like after that, I steered away. Like you kind of know. Like I mean, there's always like a dude with the like lurking in that area. You just be like, nah, I'm gonna stay away. But that Burger King, I definitely was at that Burger King, and I mean to be like, I couldn't, like I couldn't tell much of a difference. But at the same time, I never went to the South Side during the daytime. Like, I mean, I didn't see the South Side in the daytime until like, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was only there shit-faced. So, like,
The sun's starting to rise in the morning and you're like driving home as fast as you can. So.
like, I mean, like that story to me is like my girlfriend not believing my story when I told her I was at Burger King. Like, what the fuck? That ain't from Burger King. I'm like, I mean, I'm sure it was. And then I got to question myself because, like, I'm like, well, that don't look like a Burger King. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, So, yeah, nah. But that was my whole experience with that, man.
I was trying to buy a rubber apron or a couple of rubber aprons for a play that we did called The Gray Zone years ago. And I was talking to my friend, I think Benzie, and I was like, hey, I just need like a rubber apron. I mean, honestly, I could just get the rubber and cut it out. You know anybody who's like, go to this place, blah, blah, blah. So I'm walking outside and it says like used pipe fixtures or something. And you walk in and it's like a kind of an Army Navy store, but like right before you walk in the door, in the window, there's like a curtain pulled. And you saw the outside of the building in that one picture. It's unassuming, right? And there's a little sign that says the ER room that's like this big, right? And then next to it is a mannequin of just like arms, head mannequin, but it's a dude with a mustache and a leather straps across his chest is the mannequin. And so you walk in and start talking to the guy. And there's like on the second floor, it's like all like Army Navy like surplus jackets and stuff like that. There's pipe fixtures and stuff. And he goes, oh, just check around back and see the other rubber stuff. And you walk in, boom, 6-foot dildo. Like and then there's like VHS tapes and lots of dildos and lots of rubber. And then he brings out a flip book with all the rubber. And I was like, just an apron, dude. But he did custom build me some of the craziest aprons that you've ever seen. Dave, go to the. I mean, you can pull up the picture of the apron if you go to the. That's okay. That's actually the guy from the shop. That's actually a picture of him right there. It's kind of like a Fight Club thing that I have going with this guy. It's like the Tyler Durden and that guy.
I want the deluxe model.
If you go to, you can get a picture of the apron, Dave. It's on BareBonesProductions.com.
Fish eye having it right there.
Go to BareBonesProductions.com.
Are you allowed to wear that apron in public? Like, yeah, I mean,
you can wear yours. You're wearing an apron right now, Jay.
No, I didn't get mine custom built at the ER. So,
Dave, go to BareBonesProductions.com. Scroll down to the picture of the Gray Zone. You'll see the apron. Just scroll. There's Dave. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Keep scrolling. Down. Keep going. You're so close. You're so close. You're almost there. There. There it is on the bottom. Right there. You go. Boom. Right there. Off to the side.
Oh, there it is.
Keep
going.
My
God.
Keep going. There's an apron with the mask. Come on, Dave. Dave, off to the side. There you go. There's the apron.
When I moved to, so I bought a house in Lawrenceville in 2000, and that place was, you could literally get a new lock for your door because there was no place to go. You could get both of the things you needed. It was a one-stop shop. Like he was kind of, I mean, yeah. It was, you could get your, I mean, he's more latex guy than leather guy, but you could also get like hardware for your house. Like it was a legit.
Sounds like there was a lot of hardware.
I think most of the hardware is for your house. I mean,
you don't want to have that for your car or for walking around hardware.
You could use that in that Burger King alley. I mean, there's a lot of uses for what he's got going on now. I'm surprised that everybody has been to this spot. Like, is this is there some?
It's not. I mean, the thing is, like, he was there in Lawrenceville, and he, like, when you walk in the door, he could not present as a sex store, right? Like, he could not, because he had been broken into, beaten up, like, harassed. Like, so immediately it literally was like a place you could buy some stuff for your house, hardware, some cuffs if you needed it, and then like you
So
saw
they're
that.
kind of like In-N-Out Burger, where you have to be like, "Can I get that animal style?"
Yeah,
it was like a secret knock. Like, yeah, I mean, when you walked in, like, how did that exchange go? And how many old people?
The exchange literally was about safety. I'm just gonna like have to say that right now, where the guy was like presenting as one thing because he couldn't flamboyantly be like, you can get your everything you need here, because it was Lawrenceville back in the day where it was a different fucking neighborhood. And
the toothless
even now he has
ran
the
wild
same
in that block.
Operation
he has the
Sweatpants.
same sign, because it's still not safe. And that's a thing. Like, that's a problem.
That's wild that we live in an era. Like, cause, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's so wild because sex is so rampant and seemingly free. But at the same time, I do live in a weird bubble of, like, you know, like liberalism and things of that nature. So sometimes I forget that, like, motherfuckers is still, like, you know, fucking, you know, between, you know, with only the lights off through a sheet and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Mormons with, you know, crazy, you know, magic underwear and, you know, like, you know, presidents that are able to rule the country because motherfuckers think he's the Antichrist. Like, it's a wild world whenever you get outside of your little comfort zone. And, like, as much as I try to be outside of my own comfort zone and, like, see the other side of things, I do forget that, like, some people got to hide their freak flag. You know what I mean? And, like, you know, and as a man, like, as a straight man, like, I don't, like, I'm just like, I like it. That's what I do, right? And, like, you know, I get to do that because it's accepted by society to be a cis, you know, straight male to just be like, you know, but, like, a lot of folks don't have that freedom. And it's just, it's wild to hear that even today that you need, like, secret handshakes just to get a little, you know, a little two-way action going on, like a little custom made, you know, and that's like, and that's what's wild is like a lot of people need that, but they're too pent up and angry, like, you know, like, and they don't want to talk about, like, man, come on, man.
I mean, think about it. I mean, Remy even said that guy made her second favorite harness of all time. So, I mean, you know that, and she's got a lot of harnesses. So I'm saying, like, that's number 2. Okay. I'm just saying, that, like, that's quality, but you can see why, you know, you talk about, like, the one posing is one thing because of another thing. Those people at Burger King, it can't just be like, you know, Burger Hut to go, you know.
But why were they doing that? Like,
wait, we can't compare.
I prefer, like, oh great, it's like a surprise, it's not a Burger King, and you're like, oh thank God, Burger King's the worst turnpike stop. We all know this, right? You're driving, you get you're like, is there Popeyes there? I hope no, it's Burger King, and you're like, oh God.
But other than Brugger's, is there a chain on the South Side fast food wise? I mean, Brugger's isn't fast food either, I guess. But
wasn't there like a Pizza Hut multi-level for a second?
No, Taco Hut.
That's
Popeyes. That's about it, man. That's it. The Popeyes is around the corner. At least there was, and then it was gone, and then it was back. So, like, yeah, Popeyes was around the corner.
I don't know,
because there was
like the Dairy Queen still there. There was a Dairy Queen for a while.
There was the DQ still there. Yeah, that's a good one. That's on 13th. But there was like that time where it was like Heinz Ward had a bar that went out of business, and then the O was there and they went out of business, and this one went out of business, and like they had like 5 different sports bars, and that place was like cursed. And then that Burger King that wasn't a Burger King, and it hasn't been for a long time. It just
so who owns it? Does anyone know?
There, right? It's still happening.
No, wait, but they got their official sanction back. It was like they had a weird gray zone where they were no longer official, and then they got it back. I don't know if they lost it again.
They lost their charter for hazing? Like,
the king was like, I decree that this is no longer a Burger King. You cannot serve the Whopper.
They lost the number to the plug. They was like, I mean, who makes that decision? Like, nah, not you. They ain't pay the dues anymore. Like, what was?
And everyone know that I'm not comparing, you know, a latex or a sex shop to a Burger King. I'm just trying to, you know, for the purposes of this poll, I was trying to parlay.
It's literally about, if you live in Pittsburgh, you know that these two things, whatever their signs say, are different things.
If you know, you know.
You know.
The great Pusha T.
Yeah, all right, come on. I'm like rooting
Somebody
for the
just
ER
voted for
room.
the
Like,
ER
I'm
room.
a fan of that place. Like, it was a little bit of like a, you know, a sanctuary for me when I moved to Lawrenceville.
Not a bad guy.
And, I mean, you talking like, I mean, he's been there for a while, like back when Lawrenceville was like really gang banging. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I bought a house in 2000. It was still a little bit like sketchy. And also,
I went to college when I was in 2000. I came back in 2005 because I'm an idiot. And like, I was like, and the people were like, let's go down and hang out in Lawrenceville. I was like, where? Like, it was a culture shock. It still is a culture shock. Like, East Liberty still pisses me off very. Like, I'm like, what?
It pisses me off.
So but, yeah, I mean, I can see.
I bought this building. He's a queer. You know, I mean, I'm not going to assume what he is, but like, also like, what the fuck? Like, he's had that shop there and had to like disguise, just like a lot of queer places had to do that. So I don't know. You know, I want him
to make a shit ton of money when he sells that building. That's for sure. Like, he probably bought it for like $8,000 or something, you know, and now it's like he's going to sell it for $800,000, you know. So
yeah,
good for him.
He traded
the
like, Burger King Whopper for that motherfucker. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, but you know, is he providing something? Yes, he is also still providing something. Also, he's probably been like approached a number of times to sell. Why the fuck hasn't he sold? Like,
well, because he's got a business to run.
You got
a community service to adhere to, and like when you own the building and you like what you're doing, fuck it. You know what I mean? It's like,
it's got to also be a haven. Like, I mean, like that's a place where, you know, again, if you know, you know, and like if we're still living in an age where you gotta like have a secret knock to do shit like that, the fact that he's been able to do that up until now, I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, if we're just blowing up his whole shit right now, if motherfuckers are going like watch the show and knock on the door, but I mean, the fact that he's been able to survive this long and provide that, it's a necessary service, man. Like, people need to get their box on.
It has been for a long time, and the thing is, it's like, he has been harassed, he has been broken into, he has been held up at gunpoint. Like, fucked up things have happened to him, and like, so he's had to kind of have, I mean, just like a lot of the queer community has had to have this sort of like, we are this, but we're actually this, and. So it's funny that this poll is this stuff, like, you know, like,
we got into something really deep on something that
sorry guys.
No.
And now there's a really, really, you know, high-end, wide open sex shop too. I know, which is like, you know, that flip of the coin where now, you know, like a different thing under a different motive, a different clientele, more expensive, you know, I mean,
$700 dildos are okay. Like,
yeah, but still, like, it's that Lawrenceville thing where, like, it's sort of the story of Pittsburgh, that, like, lots of things that you couldn't do. It is, and
it's also, like, the story of, like, queer, where, you know, like, this person I happen to know, and he also, like, you know, was also, like, there was a moment where it was not okay, and he was in Lawrenceville when it started, so he's not going to change his, like, brand all of a sudden. But yes, like that like sweet little like sex shop that just opened like at the beginning of Lawrenceville, like it just hopefully that like makes everything just a little bit safer, right? A little bit better.
There you go. I like how.
I mean, it's not a bad thing. Like, I know people that work over there. It's like a good thing, but it's like very much. It's like switches flip or things are come, the way that people perceive stuff, because Lawrenceville, has certainly become like uber mainstream and sort of like what is allowed to be here now, like where you have Frankie's hot dogs next to Morcia, making blood sausage. There's like these interesting flips. There are things that, and Pittsburgh's losing so many of its institutions too, and there are people that have been here forever that don't get to take advantage of the changing city as well. I don't know. It's just that's like a really interesting. Those are all really interesting points, and it also.
I love being in the city where you get to have these moments where you're like, it's great. I love it. Like, I love that the city is evolving and like changing, and that there is a high-end sex shop at one end, and there's like an old school dirty ass fucking like latex shop that you got no or you don't. So it gives a lot of character to like it's nice that it's not just one. It's not just shifting to one. Like, we're not just like spending a lot of money on this one idea of Lawrence, right? Like, we can still sustain the people who bought in Lawrenceville early, and like this guy still has a business there. Like the guy that is in between that weird place in between Espresso and Mano, he has like a consignment shop or he sells furniture. You know what I'm talking about? Like that guy's been,
it's like kind of, yeah.
And he's got that like weird like yard in between Espresso and Mano, right? Like that guy's been holding on to his building. Every developer in town has been trying to get him and like his building shut down for everything, but he's holding on. He's like, I got a business still. Like, it's cool. Like, we gotta keep those people going. Right?
I mean, so my whole thing, like I put my like, promoter hat and producer hat on, and I'm like, man, and I love the city. I don't want to promote it or whatever. So like, I mean, it's weird because, it's a handshake deal. It's a kind of like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge type thing or whatever. But at the same time, like, like I feel like, black folks flying into Pittsburgh, like, maybe for a festival, especially a lot of black queers flying in, for a festival that might want to, stop by and enjoy some of the hardware that, the city may have to offer. Because again, if you're talking about, second best harness, like that's an endorsement, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, why can't we promote that and say, hey, if you touch down in Pittsburgh, here are some of the sights to see. Here are some of our finest wares that we have to offer, booze, burgers, and dildos. Like, I mean, why isn't that a thing that people can come by and see and appreciate, because it is part of the tapestry and the history of this city. Why not put them on a
and also like, why the fuck do we have to make it like it's not about dildos, like it's about sexual freedom, like we are all sexual people that can explore this, and this guy is like has a shop where if you get past the counter, you can get into some stuff that's really fun for you and your partner, no matter what their gender or gender identity is. So
it's
that's the thing that we're actually talking about. It's like he presents for safety reasons as a hardware company, but he's really here for
Army Navy stuff. Like I said, there's like an entire Romanian platoon's worth of uniforms on the second floor. Like it's like literally nothing but like camouflage green, like literally actual shit there. And then that back room is what it is, and downstairs is what it is. But yeah,
let's get Heinz involved. Let's get the museum. Let's turn it into a / museum. I don't like. Yeah, I mean, let's bring tours through that motherfucker again.
He's a nice guy.
Rebrand this.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So that's it. This I am so. This.
All right,
is,
I hope I like pushed.
No, this
like,
this is fascinating.
Really the in-show
I had no idea when we put this poll together. I had no idea it was going to be this in-depth, psychological, philosophical. Gentrification centric, what's going on in Lawrenceville, what's going on in Pittsburgh, and what's going on in this country talk. But I tell you what, you bring up the fake Burger King in the ER room, shit's gonna fly.
That's a good jagoff. one that makes
That's
you
a good
think.
Jenga.
Okay, hey, anybody who's watching at home right now, if you want to change your vote, you can. I think until we shut this thing down. How's the voting going?
Dave, you got access to it? Nice.
Oh, the
All right,
ER
we
room
made some headway.
has gained a couple of it's gone. It's almost wow.
I
it's
have
close.
to say, I first moved to Pittsburgh. I lived on the south side, on the slopes, and I was blown. I had no idea. I went to this burger a number of times, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening in this place?" Like, I didn't understand.
I didn't understand.
I didn't
You know what-
understand.
you know what
Every
I don't
time I left there, I was like,
You know what I don't
"Am I
understand?
high? What happened?"
So
Well, the
is it a
answer is
Burger
yes.
King now? It is a
What?
Burger King.
The answer was yes, Kate. You were high. But also, side note, Tommy Amoeba wants to say that Kate might be the only person to share a bill with Amoeba Knievel in 2 separate bands, Kitty Pryde and the
True.
Mophones.
It's true.
So just,
I'm a huge fan of Tommy Amoeba.
Oh, well, he's
Huge.
got the whole show tomorrow. That's
I
why
will
Dave's
be
with us
there.
tonight.
Amoeba Knievel, love them
Come
forever.
check it out tomorrow. You're gonna see you're gonna see different videos, different segments. You're gonna have at least 6 to 11 different band members, or it might just be Tommy and Dave. Who knows? But they were all in the band together. I mean, it could be a lot of people, but we know Tommy's going to be here. So be sure to everyone to tune into that tomorrow. Here's what
I'll be
blows my
there.
mind, though. You were saying that it blows your mind to come from the slopes and get a burger at Burger King and not realize what it was. I don't
I mean,
understand.
I just
that
moved to
we have
Pittsburgh,
more.
and I was like, "What is happening in the city? Like, the city is."
That's how I felt. I
Like-
felt like it was like insane. First, I thought vampires were a thing. I came to Pittsburgh. I was like, this city's filled with vampires. And then it was like,
I thought the city was blowing up all the time. I was like, "Why? There's fireworks like all the fucking time." I was
that's
like,
why I was like, this city doesn't make any. I was very much had not an elitist view. I was like, what the fuck is going on in this city? It felt like it was 30 years earlier. It felt like it was the 70s. And it felt like, but things did exist, like, that didn't make sense. They were I felt like they were incongruent, but could exist together in a way that was pretty wild. And I think a lot, Southside businesses that that are mostly, how many Southside businesses are fronts for something else, like gambling machines and stuff like that? There's so much of that sort of like skirting around the rules, fake cop busts and stuff on the Southside that I've heard about. I mean, but in a way, it was very much like a sort of like embraced as like it wasn't that these things were bad. It was just like, this is how people routed around rules. And then everyone sort of was like, well, fine with that. That wasn't necessarily a bad thing. So I think it's not necessarily these things.
A series of creative workarounds is what you're
It was
saying.
always like loopholes. It felt like, old school, like New York or something,
Right.
where everybody has to break
Yeah.
the law to get anything done to survive, and everyone's fine with it.
The first rule about Pittsburgh is we don't talk about Pittsburgh. Like, I mean, you don't even. You should be like, listen.
I grew up. There was a place called Mr. Magoo's Candy Shop, and I'd go there, and there was like candy and like baseball cards and stuff that you could buy. Like I remember wanting to buy like a Thurman Thomas rookie card there or something from his. And I'd be watching, and every time a certain car would go by, someone would pick up a bottle and knock on the wall behind them, like with a special knock. And I'm like, wonder what that's about. There was like 50 poker slots behind that wall at Mr. Magoo's. And then like, I mean, you figured it out after you hit 9 or 10 years old, what was going on. But like, you're like, oh, that's what the knocking on the door was when there was a bust on the news when it finally went down. But that's basically how
And
they
the
were.
busts were largely fake.
They
That's
were
the
all
other
fake.
thing.
They were all fake.
Yeah.
Where everybody was, I mean,
It was just for show. It was all shakedown. It wasn't even, sometimes it wasn't even like the cops busting it. It was just like random, like, yeah, yeah, I see that. Having grown up here, you know what I mean? I haven't realized some of those things that you guys are talking about. I'm like, oh, I guess that is uniquely Pittsburgh. I mean, aside from the fireworks and the Zambellis being from here and everything.
Yeah. When I moved here, I was like, "What? You can't buy alcohol anywhere, but you can buy it at this weird place on the corner in Friendship." What?
Right.
Like, everything had its own little tiny rules.
Yeah, what was that place called in Friendship? Wow.
Like Cooper's.
Yeah, something in Cooper's, something.
It was called 7-Eleven.
It was a 7-Eleven forever.
Yeah.
And then it became a
Brian and
bar,
Cooper's.
Like Brian and Cooper's. Yeah. Yeah.
They bought the building and the liquor license came with the building. And they just kept it and did the 7-Eleven thing there. I used to buy 6-packs from that place.
I remember like
everybody did, but I was like, what the fuck is happening with the liquor laws in Pennsylvania? And like,
also, there was like a weird bar in the back of the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, that was the best part. I remember going there to watch Steeler games.
Watch the games because there was just like old head neighborhood people.
You watched the games there?
In the bright fluorescent light of a 7-Eleven. It wasn't like a bar that you want to hang out at.
They had a counter and you could drink there.
No, nothing good for the Steelers is happening when you watch at Brian and Cooper.
That was the best place to watch the game.
7-Eleven.
That's fine.
I used to buy those little short beers, a 12-pack of those little short beers. The little
Ponies.
8-ounce cans of Budweiser.
Well, that was a dumb
easy to
choice.
transport. What's that? That was a dumb choice? Why?
Yes, I mean,
just the Mickey's Big Mouth. There were 12 of them. There were 12 8-ounce cans.
You say, I thought you said Budweiser, like little cans. I was like,
there were little cans of Budweiser. They were like little 8-ounce cans. You get 24 8-ounce cans.
Oh, okay.
For like $8 or $9.
That sounds like those pony bottles. You talking about them little pony? I didn't even know
they
what
were
a pony
cans.
bottle. They were cans. Pony cans.
Pony cans. I'm serious. There were Budweiser pony cans, not the pony.
We need
bottle.
to fact check this right now. This is
I think you're right.
You. Make it
I think you were just young and your hands were small. And you know.
Wouldn't it be the reverse? Wouldn't they be seen much bigger?
Yeah, big. I like it. Just don't. Who's selling 8-ounce can? Why would you even waste the aluminum on that shit? Like
it's like drinking out of the really small cups.
Money it's like just buy the big can.
Like,
6 big cans.
Listen to me. I'll explain. You have a cooler.
You don't look cool.
No, you don't look. You look like Andre the Giant. What do you mean you don't look cool? You look like Andre the Giant drinking a beer.
This is the beers that Trump fans be like.
This is like a can of beer right here. It's like, yeah.
Look at this huge beer.
But I'm serious. It's like Andre the Giant drank like 78 beers in one sitting. And that's why, because he was a big guy. It looked like a. I'm telling you, you put them in a cooler, they stay cold. You slam it, boom, it's gone. You don't have to worry about like that last little bit of beer that you don't like. The warm beer, if you're drinking a while, it stays cold.
You can't drink beer wrong, Patrick.
12 ounces of.
Wait a minute. What do we see here? 8-ounce Bud Light.
8 ounces. You can own that. I'm gonna buy that for you, Patrick.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that. Please don't. It costs $5.50 to ship that. If you buy that, I'll stop talking to you for 2 days.
That is.
It's like the old airport beers or something. Is that what they were made for?
Oh,
they're made for old women who can't like. I don't make like. I'm not. Is it who's 8 ounces?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point of that? I can see it in a Coca-Cola where you're like, I just don't want the sugar or the caffeine. But if you're drinking beer,
you're gonna drink 24 of those.
Yeah.
Do the math.
It's the waste of aluminum, as Dave said.
Exactly. It's like,
I mean, or you could just treat like
you're just destroying the planet, and also
who is keeping count? Like, it's a friend. Like, who's being like, oh, well, you only like. Like none of them did 8 ounces.
Like 24 8 ounces.
They might have
okay, so what's the difference? Like 8 ounces versus 12? Because you're talking about like it's not even half a beer; it's 2/3 of a beer. Like you can't finish the last 4 ounces, bro. Like,
I just want to remind you, Patrick, you brought this into the conversation. No one
I love it. I love it.
I like them. I like those little ones. They're cold. They're cold.
They stay cold. They're like ice cold. You drink them.
They're freaking cold.
Yeah. One.
Pow! You know,
pow, it's gone. It's like one sip. Boom.
You're calling in help halfway through. Like,
I was 19 years old. You sons of bitches. What is the matter with you? I was.
So it's made for kids. You're saying it's for kids.
No, it's whatever. I was.
So I'm sorry. When you're 19 years old, you're not thinking about how cold your beer is while you like crush it. You're just like.
I am. I like a nice
bang for the buck. You're buying 4 Locos. You're buying 4 Locos there.
That's like getting a little cheesecake, you know, like you get a little cheesecake. Sometimes you like a little cheesecake, sometimes you like a big one. You know what I mean?
Dave,
that's a
single serving stuff, fun size, but it's actually a fun size, not
Dave,
like a fun size.
I just sent you a link. Could you put that on the big screen, please? Just saying. This will further my point of you guys being able to make fun of me tonight. I'm gonna add to the fun. I'm gonna do what they call gaslighting. I might actually just throw some gasoline on this fire to make you guys burn me up. Dave, did you get that link? Did I send it to the right people? Okay, he's gonna pull it up.
Oh no.
No, this is legit. You can buy this right now, today. Not one of those old school cans that Dave just showed. I'm talking a sexy throwback 8-ounce can of Budweiser.
Oh.
Dave, are you buying that?
It's one beer I could never drink.
I'm just wondering, like, who's the target demographic?
I don't know. Look at this. Look at that. Look, does that look like that's a nice looking can?
I feel like they made that for slaves because we were 3/5 of the people or some shit. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't like that. Don't even.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's
it doesn't
weird.
make sense that they would sell that to a adult. Like, if you're, what was the drinking age back then? 18 when you first got into it? Like, that had to be.
No, it was 21, Day.
What 21-year-old?
It was 21. I didn't come of age in the 70s. The draft age was 18.
Wait, that's 12 8-ounce beers for $30. Is that right?
You could order it for Pepper for Christmas.
That doesn't say $30.
No, it's 28.
No, it's not. Hold on.
No, how much is that?
It's
$27.
You're looking at the non-alcoholic stuff.
Oh.
This is they don't
a
have
non-alcoholic 8-ounce beer.
No,
Are you fucking kidding me?
Guys,
how redundant
guys, stop. Please. It's another
You're like,
beer.
stay on subject.
It's another beer
We're talking about 8-ounce Budweiser.
That is an advertisement for another beer on there because the 8-ounce beers are sold out because they're so fucking popular.
Fuck that.
Or they don't really make it.
They probably don't make it anymore.
Slim cans. Nobody feels sexy being like, you want a slim can?
Okay. How about this? Do you drink a light beer?
I do drink a light beer.
Okay, so check this out.
Sure.
All that is that 8-ounce beer with 4 more ounces of water.
No one's going to explain that when you're standing.
I'm gonna talk about beer with Dave.
Oh, I guess. You know, like,
I'm gonna talk beer with Dave.
Concentrated light beer. Is that what you're pushing? Concentrated light.
Here's the deal. I haven't had this since like friggin' 2000 something.
Okay, so when you were 22, when you were buying that beer, where you're like,
I wasn't 22.
Hey, sexy lady.
Yeah,
you want a little bit of beer?
This has 4 ounces less water than like.
No, just be like this.
No, you weren't saying that. No.
Here's what
I do. I feel personally burned just because I was out in New Jersey and everybody kept, like, for the first time, and everybody kept saying how expensive New Jersey was. And I went to the bar and I got a 6-pack, and it was only like, I don't know, $7, $8, and I was super geeked. It was like, oh, I got back and everybody was like, oh, like, what you got? I was like, yeah, and then I pulled them out. And they were pony bottles. And see, that's a picture that you put next to your, to make it seem a little
That's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
Imagine. Okay, hold on. Let me ask you a question. If you had an 8-ounce can of beer, would you use that or a Sharpie to show scale?
Okay, I'm feeling you. All right, now I understand.
So now
you're like, hey, babe.
It's like
you want a beer?
Babe, would you like a beer? I know you're taller than me, but look at how this beer looks.
Giant.
Out here fishing, like, man.
Listen, guys, I'm just joking around, but I can't tell you how excited I am that I brought up the short beer can thing, because this has been one of my favorite moments in Alone Together history. Everybody's just like ready to fight me. They're like, it's fucked up, Patrick.
We thought we knew you, man. Like,
I'm into it. I'm with you, Patrick. On this,
I tell you what. If it wasn't a pandemic, I'd be going to that 7-Eleven if it was still there, but it's not anymore. I would go buy a case of short beers right now and take them to your houses.
They're cold. They're so cold. They're cold. Each one is so cold.
It's so cold. It's a nugget. Get not cold. These both beers.
It's cold. You have to worry about it. You put that in the cooler. boom, gone. Boom, drinking, boom, gone. Boom, gone. You don't have to worry about it. Plus, it's Budweiser, so you're not going to get drunk. It's boom, gone. It's amazing.
Hey man, I appreciate your candor and your willingness to admit that in public. That's a pioneer. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the next generation is really going to appreciate that. They're going to look back on this and go like, he pioneered some shit.
He might be starting a trend. Who knows? In Lawrenceville, they might all be selling 8-ounce beers next week
for $17.
You know what I mean?
Wait, all right. Like changing the subjects, but not totally. On the super craft beers, right? Do they like if you're getting a pour, like let's say a draft, right? Do they do like short pours for like expensive amounts of money? I know they do half pours at different breweries and stuff. It's still going to cost you some money for that, right? Like
like a half pour?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you pay money for it. Like, yeah, you're going to pay. I mean, typically, like, you're going to get, you're talking about craft beer. So, like, it's various ABVs and styles and all that or whatever. So you might not like it. It might be an overpowering. Like, some of these beers are just a lot. Like, that beer that I had earlier with the pie. Like, no, that's cool, but I might have one and done. It's a lot of flavor or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so I might not want a whole 16 ounces of that shit. I might not even want, a full 8 ounces of that. That might be a 4-ounce pour or whatever. So there's varying degrees of pour for the beer. But yeah, I mean, just Budweiser is 4 ounces it's like 4 ounces of bread water. Like it really like,
I like to call it yeast piss.
I worked at a place we got day old Budweiser, and it was good. It was day old.
Oh.
Like fresh.
It was fresh, and it was a whole different. It was great. It was good.
Yeah, that sounds like I mean, so Budweiser, as much as like they make a great like they have perfected the ability to like produce the same beer every time they make it. They're like the quality of it,
with the shelf life, so that sucker can sit around for a while and get hot and cold and get off the truck,
I went to high school outside of Columbus where they make that beer, and that smell was intense. And everybody drank Budweiser in town, and I couldn't.
Latrobe is an interesting smell.
It's just not. What's that?
And Iron City, but yeah.
Yeah.
Latrobe does Iron City, Rolling Rock, and what's the other one?
Rock Light?
Probably, yeah.
They were doing Sam Adams for a while, but I don't think they are anymore, but I'm not sure.
It's like what happens with all these breweries and stuff kind of like merge and they all start making it in the same place with the same lines. Same thing with bourbons and stuff and whiskey, like Irish whiskey. It's all made at the Jameson distillery now. Patty, Bushmills, I think everything's all made in the same building. I don't know about Bushmills, but I know Patty's there, and
I didn't know that.
Patty and Jameson are in the same building now, and that's why.
I always drank Rolling Rock. Like my parents drank Rolling Rock.
I used to drink Rolling Rock.
Yeah,
that was my high school choice.
Is it still around? I haven't seen it in forever. I feel like
it got bought, and I don't know what the hell
definitely
happened.
Got bought.
I became an adult, so I stopped. Like, I mean, like it was Rock Light was the keg that was available, at Terrible Frats. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna drink it." But like, I've never actually like bought Rolling Rock. Like I've never, like I bought cups and got Rolling Rock, but I don't know. It was it's a beer. I mean, clearly, again, it got bought out. So clearly, these beers, we're talking about, like, not to be a hard, we're talking about it like, looking back at it. Like, you got to remember, like, motherfuckers, science and technology was hard back in the day. Like, something like a Rolling Rock, that was hard to make consistently. And the ingredients, like, we live in a global society right now. We can talk to motherfuckers in China right now on our phone. Back in the day, getting some grains and some hops, that was a task. And then to get it consistently was a task. So, like, shout out to them for doing it. I mean, looking back at it, it's shitty beer. I mean, I would never drink that shit today, but I admire what they did. Just like, I admire like the early medicines and shit. Leeches got us to where we are today. And shout out to leeches. I ain't using them motherfuckers today, but if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have, you know, like vaccines and shit. So everything has a time and a place.
Well, let me say one thing to anybody who's still watching. Thanks for watching us talk. For the show
we just picked up 2 viewers.
The show
long
ended
tonight.
The show
it's
ended
the leech
an hour
talk
ago.
that did it.
The show ended over an hour ago, but I want to thank you for sticking around with us. Before we get into this, reminding you tomorrow, it's Amoeba Knievel Takeover. I want to thank our guests tonight, Dalel Khalil, Kate Romane, Dave Bracey, Natalie Bencivenga doing her 5 minutes with Rochel at the gift PGH.com, and thank you all very much. Can't do the
pointing.
What's that?
I was trying to point at day, but I can't.
I'll do it. Oh shit!
There we go. I got it. There you go.
It's like Dave's game now.
Man, fuck Donald Trump.
Oh
yeah, fuck that guy.
My gosh, it's gotten sad. It's just it's infuriating, but it's just sad that it's like, you know, I wish I could get to a place where everyone would just be cool with just appeasing me and my feelings.
Yeah,
I lose all the time.
We're definitely not there quite yet. But I do appreciate that graceful bow out earlier in the show. That was good role model.
That's good.
Very good role model.
We actually literally Pete came up with that idea at 7:58, like right before the show started.
It was very good dadmanship there. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yeah, that was fun. That was super fun. Also, like,
Sarah thought it was too soon.
That was the whole point, right?
Yeah. What were you gonna say, Kate?
Oh, that's it. That was just like of the moment. Like, come on.
Yeah. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Day, is that a new mask?
Yeah, it's 412 Food Rescue. You know the folks. You know what I mean? That show was dope last week.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, man. It's getting real wild out there. So I just, I like to wear it. Just kind of feel nice in the, you know what I mean? Just get comfortable. And I like in what is it, in China, they do it as a show of like civic duty. You're just kind of like modeling behavior. So, sometimes I like to just ride around town with a mask on and then pull my window down and just stare at motherfuckers like, what you gonna do? Because why not? We in the fucking age of, when else can you be a ninja? Just in your home and it just be cool, or in your car or whatever. Focus would just be like, well, that's 2020. You know what I mean? Like, if I was doing this last year, but I get to do this all I want. You know what I mean? And I'm going to take full advantage of this. I might never come out of the mask era. So this is what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? I watch a lot of anime, so this might just
be right up there. Yeah, I just bought a mask. I went down like a rabbit hole of like 3 a.m. and I bought a mask. It hasn't got here yet. One with the little nose thing on it, with like the little wire in the nose, because my glasses fog up pretty much constantly.
Yeah, you have to do that, Pat. You have to get the wire nose thing.
That's what I need. Yeah, so it's basically like me walking around blind is basically how it's been. I've been hitting like walls and tree branches.
Maybe you just need smaller glasses. Have you thought about that? Maybe you just need 2/3 of the glasses that you currently have, and then maybe it wouldn't catch.
Well, you can go with like a spectacle. Just have one that you keep in there, and then it's on a string, and
like
then
8-ounce glasses.
Hang it off.
Like 8-ounce glasses.
Yeah.
2/3 of the glasses you currently have, just like here. Just bring them down to here.
Or maybe just have them up higher so that way they don't fog as easy.
Oh yeah, I'll just run like this.
That's okay.
Skiers will spit in it.
I think that'll work good.
Work it around, work a loogie into it, and then it won't fog up. That's what skiers and swimmers do. Hock a loogie in there.
Well, we're joking, but all you have to do for those 8 people watching right now, all you got to do is wear a mask. Just
wear the fucking mask. God damn.
It's fucking cool. Like, it's cool.
It is cool. Right. Like, once you start wearing it, it's fine. It's only when you don't wear it, it feels weird.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, look at you, babe.
Feels weird.
You looking good.
Your mask is made. Your face is made for a mask, Jay.
I think masks are made for faces. I don't know. Like, oh shit! Like you just any picture is cool because you ain't gotta like. I got like hygiene. What's hygiene? Who cares? Who cares? I
Plus,
got.
you don't even have to be smiling in the picture. You could just be like, it's like we were talking last week about like costume mascots and stuff. Those guys aren't smiling, holding your kids and posing for pictures. They're back to like this motherfucker. Anyway. Well, thank you all very much. We should probably wrap this thing up. What's the final for today? It's going to carry into tomorrow, but how's things going with the ER room versus the fake Burger King?
Still up 64% to 36%.
All right, the needle hasn't moved, so I think it's time for us to wrap this 2-hour extravaganza down, and we'll be back to we had an hour show last night. We'll be back to an hour show tomorrow night, and get that going. But you know, with the 5 of us here, we should all sing a song. No, I'm kidding. Let's have Sally Wiggins send us home.
Yeah,
Sally Wiggins.
Love her.
When I walk out and there's someone without a mask and they come too close to me, I'm just racked with fear, and then I want to punch them in the face.
You know, that does not get old. And you know what we need
Role
to do?
model.
What we need to do.
How many of you are there?
Oh, there's dozens. I'd rather not say exactly.
Men who haven't seen daylight in 3 months.
Police officers who haven't seen daylight in 3 months.
Dial it back, officer. The situation is unprecedented. Let's move away from this location and then call it in.
Right, let's go.
No, we'll take it from here. You stay and look after these folks.
Went down so hard, babe.
That was a marble floor, guys.
Yeah, for real. Nice work, babe. Nice work. All the way to the end.
We know you really won that. We know you really won that.
Yeah, that was crazy. You know, it's crazy because you edit around, but like Morgan Freeman was in that one scene.
I cut him out.
Yeah, it's fine. It was just like
Didn't make the cut, Dave.
Supercut.
Well, it's kind of fitting because you cut out Morgan Freeman just like they cut out my lines in that scene. So hey, payback.
I tried to make it like one continuous
Oh, no,
happening moment for you,
did.
Patrick.
No, you did great. You did great, and that's I'm glad that's the last time we're gonna have to show it. And that body falling was me.
I like it when you stuttered it like.
Yeah, the triple hit is pretty great.
Just further proof that it was rigged. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
well, you know what? You might think that, but you got to move on. You know,
I agree.
You got to move on
rigged.
from it. You know,
it's time for a new administration.
Listen. You got to put your hopes.
Next episode, we're gonna have to go.
You're gonna have to put your hopes in Michael Keaton. I'm just saying, it's Michael Keaton or Kurt Angle, because Kurt Angle, I'm telling you, he did win a gold medal with a broken friggin' neck. You know, he is from Pittsburgh. He was a WWF heel champion for 20-some years.
Why is it that like a real accomplished, like, you know, like broken neck and like real athleticism and like gold medal, like, you know, but somehow, man, Michael Keaton, Batman, though, it's like, but it's Michael Keaton. Like it's logically it should be Kurt Angle, but I don't want to.
Who knows how this is going to go?
People, but
Kurt Angle's one of the more prevalent vote getters. I mean, this has been going on for a while. Michael Keaton and Kurt Angle went through like 5 or 6 people to get to where they're at right now. We never thought they'd see each other. They came from 2 different grids, and now they're here. So I'm assuming if I had to put money odds on this, I would put like 10-1 that the cookie table is going to beat. You know what I mean? Striking distance, but I could be wrong on that. I was wrong on 3 or 4 different things with striking distance. I was wrong on Bill Peduto's beard making it to the Elite 8. Who knew that was going to go? Michael Keaton, Kurt Angle. I have no clue how that's going to fall. That's even money. I can't bet. I can't bet on that.
Multiplicity, man.
I feel like that should be the final moment.
I like pita. That's a line from Multiplicity. That's one of the guy with the pizza guy. I'm sorry. Go on, Kate. What were you saying? I like pizza.
I gotta go to bed. I'm 19 minutes past my bedtime.
That's a good show closer, Patrick.
You never watched Multiplicity, Kate? You gonna tell me you never watched Multiplicity?
No.
What? Oh, really? Okay, you're not for. All right, listen. All right, I'm gonna send you a file, and
send it. I don't know.
Well,
it's one
folks,
of the. It's a nugget.
We're gonna do that. Thank you so much. Dave's gonna be back next Friday, hopefully. Pete and Dave and I will be back tomorrow. Kate, maybe you'll be watching. If you want to pop on and have some amoeba talk, you can please feel free
I'll
to
have
do
some
so.
amoeba talk.
Great.
Hey, you're awesome. I love you, babe.
It's the mask.
You could do anything in that mask and pull it off.
Also, you want to make me drink beer like constantly. Like I want to drink what you're drinking, and also
you're cool. Be who you want.
Get over here. Trukin.
Okay, sorry, Pat. What were you saying?
I was just wrapping the show.
Yeah.
Y'all keep going.
All right, let's wrap it.
Hey, I think Pete has something better to do. Like sleep and breathe or see his family. So, hey, thank you all very much. And you at home still watching, thank you for indulging us. We're Alone Together Pittsburgh, back live streaming with you 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Thank you all. Take care of each other.
Thank you.
Wear your mask. Do you guys carry 8-ounce beers, Budweiser?
I want a tiny, 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 tiny little beer. I don't see it.